This is a product review of the ERGO Tab full motion TV wall mount. You can see model number EBMF2. Just doing a quick unboxing for you. You can see what's in there. We do have the instructions. Now I haven't read them yet, but you can see they look fairly decent as far as how to put it together and the different types of bolts and nuts, etc. that are in the kit. So I will read this, and I'll probably read the entire thing before I get started and try to put it together. Just wanted to point out some of the items that are in the kit. You can see this looks like maybe some very long anchors or some very long screws here to attach this to the wall. So we're going to go ahead and look at that. In addition, we have quite a number of other bits and pieces here that you can see will be useful for setting things up. B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Looks like there's more than enough to work with here. It looks like there might even be a few extras. You can, some of these bolts, for example, E, for example, looks like it might go in from the back of the unit into the back of the TV, and you got quite a few there to choose from. So a good selection of assorted items there to work with mounting it. Just looking at the hardware here, first time I'm picking it up. Feels good and sturdy. It's not that heavy. Looks like it has some good strength to it. So I have a relatively small TV that I'm going to try using this on. So I'm fairly confident that something with this amount of strength to it is going to hold up that TV very well. You can see the base down here, of course, which attaches to the back of the TV set. And a couple of other things down here that look like possibly for the swing arms or to connect the two pieces together. So what I'm going to do now is head out into the old garage there and see if I can put this together and mount my TV. We'll see how it works, let you know. Alright, we're back. I took about 30 minutes or so to read the directions over here and then read them again a couple times. So I think I'm pretty well clear on what I need to do. I also checked some things on the back of the television set, so I'm pretty well set to keep moving with this. Just one thing I wanted to mention, there was a little bit of confusion in my mind until I read it the second or third time. You can see on part A here, they have a big caution sign that says these anchors are for concrete or block walls only. Do not use them in drywall or wood studs. And that's the one that comes in package A here. And after reading it a couple of times and looking at both packages, what I realized that they were talking about was just these inserts here, just the wall anchors. I'm still going to use the lag bolts and the washers here when I attach them into the wood, which is how I'm going to use them. You would only use this for concrete. So this is the only piece that I will not be using today. It was a little confusing the way it was written, but once I thought it through and read it a couple of times, it became pretty clear what they wanted me to do. I did go through, as I mentioned, and looked at the back of the TV. I'm fortunate I'm going to be able to use the basic setup here with just the standard plate. I won't have to use any of the extender arms in this positions. I might very well have to use some of the extra, what do they call them here, spacers, I guess, in order to make sure that everything fits right. But we'll see that when we get closer to putting the TV up onto the back of the bracket. So that's what I'm going to go do now. I'm going to attach the TV bracket to the back of the TV and see what happens. First things first, though, right now the TV's on a stand. I got to figure out how to get the stand off of the TV so I can attach the bracket. All right, I'm out in the garage now hooking this up, and has been going along pretty well until I got to one of my first aha moments, or what am I going to do to fix that type moment. As you can see, I have the bracket here sort of started up on the back of the TV. I did start out with no spacers. That didn't quite work as well. Went to a smaller spacer. Didn't quite fit as firmly as I wanted, so I went up to a bigger spacer like this, which is working okay as far as being able to tighten the back plate down to the back of the TV. But here's my aha moment, and my moment that I'm going to have to think about a little bit more. When I get this lined up, you can see what it does. As the plate covers some of the ports that I have in the back. Now, if all I would happen to use was just the input here for the TV or for the HDMI, which is the two major ways that I use this particular TV, I would be fine. But I would like to be able to get to the optical audio out and maybe even the regular audio out. The PC one doesn't bother me too much, and some of the ones below that don't bother me either. But if I needed them, I'd like to be able to get to them. And with the plate configured the way that it is here, you can see some of that is blocked. So I'm going to try to go with some extra spacers here and see if I can open up that enough to be able to get in there. If I can get into the audio cable, the HDMI, as well as the input, I think I'll be fine. But I have to play with it a little bit more and see what I can do. So far, the installation's gone easy, but ran into one little hiccup there. I'll let you know how it goes. All right, we're back out here in the garage. I think I got this set up now in a way that should work. If you remember the last video, we had a problem with this optical cable down here. So in order to fix that, what I did is I took the spacers that I originally had put on this side of the bracket, just because I wanted to hold the screws more firmly to the TV, or hold this bracket more firmly to the TV. What I did is I simply took those extra large spacers and I switched them to the back side here. So now the spacers are in the back and it screws on the front. And that may be the way it was intended to work in the first place, but I did switch them around and was able to actually physically move the plate away from the back of the TV by that much. As I mentioned, my original desire was just to fasten this plate firmly to the TV, but now I wanted the extra space back there. So when I do that, as you can see, it created just enough room for me to be able to get my optical cable in there. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm also testing this, and even though it's away from the base of the TV, it still seems really firm. I don't see any movement at all. So now we're going to move on, finally, and see if we can mount this up to the wall. I will let you know. All right, we're back out. As you can see, I have the holder here, or the hardware, up onto this 2x4. Pretty straightforward process to do that. You just have these 3 lag bolts. You take a 1/8 inch drill bit, drill in for about 2.5 inches or so, and then you simply put the lag bolts in, and it holds pretty steady. So now what we're going to do is go on to the final piece of the puzzle here, and we are going to attach that back plate, which is on the TV, and put it onto this unit, and then we'll have a good idea of how well this works. As always, I will let you know. All right, back outside here. As you can see, the TV is up on the wall and it's hanging nice and firm. I had to attach it to the holder on the back, of course, as I mentioned earlier, and that was a little tricky. I must say, what happens is that when you go to connect this back plate to the swing arm here, you can see what it does is it does have the capability to rest the TV on this little notch. I didn't feel, or notches on both sides, I didn't feel really comfortable just having that the stand rest on that notch while I tried to screw in the little bolts here that allow you to adjust the TV back and forth at an angle. So this was the only part of the project that I decided I needed some help with. So I called somebody over to hold the TV in place using that little notch there, of course, to help support it. But I did call somebody over in place while I went ahead and tightened this down at the right angle that I wanted. Now the TV swings pretty easily, goes every direction that I want it to do. I can fold it semi-flat up against the wall. If I need to fold it at an angle or put it at an angle to look someplace else, I have the capabilities of doing that. It does seem kind of sturdy on the wall. No problems with that. It looks nice and firm, so I'm glad that that's holding the way I want it to do. All in all, I'll say that this was not an overly complex project when you take every piece into consideration. The main problem I have, of course, was the time it took to figure out how to
readjust the back of the set in order to be able to handle some of those cables in our back. That is specific to this specific model of TV, of course, and may not be an issue for other people depending on the size. The adjustability was good. As I mentioned, it wasn't hard to figure out the setup, any of that kind of stuff. So overall, I'm actually pretty pleased with this mount and how well it went up. Took a while to do it, but overall maybe a 3 or 4 out of 10. You don't have to have a lot of skills to do it or a lot of previous experience to do it. And just as I did, take your time, work through the issues that come up, and it should work out okay for you.